You are now listening to The Model Health Show with Sean Stevenson. For more, visit themodelhealthshow.com. Welcome to The Model Health Show. This is fitness and nutrition expert Sean Stevenson, and I'm so grateful for you tuning in with me today. On this episode, we're going to be covering the nutrition-sleep connection from my new book, Eat Smarter. And we're going to dive into how sleep controls your metabolism, how your gut health and microbiome play major roles in regulating your sleep, which crucial sleep regulating nutrients you need to include on a regular basis. And specifically, these are the nutrients that are needed to build your sleep related hormones and neurotransmitters to make all of the magic happen. You can get the fanciest, pantsiest mattress you can ever imagine, the pillow with the most flex and fluffiness and shoots out rainbows, whatever it is. You can get all of this fancy stuff, get the blackout curtains. All those things are wonderful. But if you don't have the raw materials to build your sleep related hormones and neurotransmitters, our sleep is going to continue to suffer. So this is why this is important. And also, when identifying these nutrients, what are the best foods to find them in? So we're going to talk about that. And we'll also cover how commonly consumed foodstuffs, in addition to those, actually damage your sleep quality, plus a whole lot more. And if this is your first time tuning into the Model Health Show, again, my name is Sean Stevenson. I'm the author of the USA Today national bestseller, Eat Smarter, and the international bestselling book, Sleep Smarter. And again, on this episode, we're going to dive into specific foods that we need to be eating on a regular basis to improve our sleep quality. So first things first, we're going to start at the top. And I want to begin with why focusing on good sleep nutrition is so beneficial. When we think about diet and nutrition, here in this culture, it's generally in the context of weight loss and weight management. That's generally what we relate to psychologically, nutrition and diet. But our sleep quality itself is one of the most powerful controllers of our metabolism, specifically in the domain of body weight and metabolism. Researchers at Stanford University found that insufficient sleep can reduce levels of the satiety hormone leptin that has big influences on your overall metabolism. And also, sleep deficiency increases the level of the hunger hormone ghrelin. All right, ghrelin is really the captain of the team of our hunger-related hormones that drive us to eat more. So being sleep deprived suppresses our satiety hormones and increases our hunger hormones. And the researchers discovered that insufficient sleep directly increases our body mass index. All right, it is a 1-to-1 result. Our sleep is controlling what our metabolism is doing. Now, that's just a little overarching thing. We're going to dive a little bit deeper. A recent study conducted by researchers at the University of Chicago revealed that our fat cells themselves need sleep too. All right, our fat cells need sleep. The study recruited healthy, lean test subjects, and each volunteer went through 2 study conditions. In one part of the study, they spent 8.5 hours a night in bed for 4 consecutive nights. In another part of the study, they spent 4.5 hours in bed. So they took away 4 hours of their sleep for 4 nights. Food intake in both phases was exactly the same and strictly controlled. All right. They're in a ward study. They're monitoring everything. They're eating the exact same amount of food on the morning after their normal nights of sleep and on the morning after their 4 nights of sleep deprivation. All right. The morning after the walk of shame. Each volunteer was given an intravenous glucose tolerance test, which measures their total body insulin sensitivity. In addition, the researchers performed a biopsy, removing abdominal fat cells from the volunteers. And they measured how those fat cells specifically responded to the role of insulin. And after 4 nights of sleep deprivation, their total body insulin response was suppressed. It decreased by an average of 16%. Plus, and this is the most important part, specifically their fat cells themselves, again, that they took out via biopsy, their fat cells themselves, their insulin sensitivity decreased by 30%. All right. So what does this mean? First of all, insulin resistance, this lack of insulin sensitivity, A classic sign of insulin resistance is carrying around more abdominal belly fat. But what does this mean specifically for these numbers? This reduction in insulin sensitivity is comparable to the difference between cells from a lean person and cells from someone who is obese. And again, these were lean, healthy test subjects who suddenly their fat cells were functioning as if they became obese in 4 days, just 4 days of sleep deprivation. Or another comparison here is somebody without diabetes. That's what their markers look like initially, becoming somebody with diabetes. That's how their fat cells were actually responding as if they had diabetes within 4 days. All right, this is remarkable. And this is, again, these controlling factors for our metabolism that is not talked about in different diet programs. It's not talked about the necessity of optimizing our sleep for so many different things that have to do with our health and well-being. And to put the cherry on top, one more study looking at how sleep impacts our body composition. And this one is incredibly eye-opening. And I really hope to push this into the interwebs because it's so right to the point. This study was published in the Annals of Internal Medicine and conducted by researchers at the University of Chicago. And they followed overweight but healthy volunteers to study the impact that sleep deprivation has on their metabolism. They put them on a controlled, reduced calorie diet. Again, they're watching and monitoring exactly what they eat. And they allowed them during one phase of the study to get 8.5 hours of sleep. All right, they got 8.5 hours of sleep for 14 days, carefully monitoring what they eat. So that's one phase of the study. All right, now they keep them on the same exact diet for the next phase of the study, and they sleep deprive them. They pull away 3 hours of sleep. So now they're getting 5.5 hours of sleep for 14 days, and they track the results. Now, again, they're on the exact same diet, but in one phase, they're getting adequate sleep. In another phase, they're being sleep deprived. After compiling all of the data, they found that when folks were adequately rested, they lost 55% more body fat eating the exact same diet. The changes were remarkable. And the question is why? How can sleep have such a powerful effect on our body composition and our weight? And a big part of that is that our sleep is a major controller of our hormones. And when we're talking about sleep quality in of itself, the same thing is true. Your hormones and neurotransmitters are the chemical messengers sending these metabolic DMs to make all of the magic happen, to keep all of the cells in your cellular community that make up your body on the same page. So clearly our sleep is a major controller of our metabolism, absolutely. And to optimize our sleep, our nutrition is of the utmost importance. So to see how this interaction between nutrition and sleep actually takes place, look no further than the incredible world of our microbiome. So now we're going to dive in deep. We're going to get up in them guts and take a look at what's happening in relationship to our microbiome and the sleep connection. Your tiny gut bacteria play a gigantic role in regulating your sleep cycles. A recent study published in the journal Sleep Medicine discovered that negative changes to your microbiome can have substantial detrimental effects on the quality of your sleep. Again, negative changes to your microbiome can have substantial detrimental effects to the quality of your sleep. And what's more, the researchers discovered that poor sleep quality can also have detrimental effects on your microbiome. They literally feed into each other, and you can get caught in a vicious circle that so many people are experiencing, and they have no idea why. Again, they're getting the fanciest, pansiest mattress. They're getting the best pillow. They're getting the heavy blanket, right? They're getting the blanket that suffocates you. What is it called? What do they call? Weighted blankets. They're getting the weighted blanket. Makes it feel like they're in the womb again, but it's still not working. All right. They can't even get smothered to sleep. All right. And shout out to the weighted blankets. I think they're fantastic for some people. But we're not addressing the root cause. What's actually controlling the process of sleep itself. And it has so much to do with our microbiome and our nutrition. Their report demonstrated that as the microbiome is negatively altered and sleep quality is reduced, there's a direct reduction in our ability to switch between different mental tasks, something called cognitive flexibility. Cognitive flexibility. So to make this clear, when our microbiome sleep connection is disrupted, it damages our sleep and damages our cognitive ability as well. And again, I dive into that in depth in Eat Smarter because we're looking at our metabolism. How can we eat to optimize our metabolism? And again, taking people behind the scenes and teaching people how their metabolism actually works, but also what are nutrients, specific foods that improve our cognitive performance. That's what the smarter part of Eat Smarter is really all about. Now, as mentioned, to dive in deeper into them guts, to talk about how this actually works, I'm going to read you a powerful tidbit from Eat Smarter. One of the major reasons that our gut health has such a profound impact on our sleep is due to the sleep-related hormones and neurotransmitters that are produced and or stored in the gut. Take serotonin, for example. Serotonin is well noted to promote positive mental and emotional health, while low levels of serotonin are associated with anxiety and depression. On top of that, serotonin also plays a major part in sexual function, bone health, regulating the movement of your digestive system, and sleep quality. A 2007 report found that low levels of serotonin can contribute to insomnia. Serotonin is a potent neurotransmitter with many jobs, and even though it's often associated with things happening in our brains, the vast majority of serotonin is actually located in our gut. Approximately 90% of the human body's total serotonin is located in the gastrointestinal tract. And scientists at the California Institute of Technology, Caltech, reported that there are specific bacteria that interact with the cells in the gut that produce and secrete serotonin for us. These cells, called enterochromaffin cells, are interacting with your bacteria cells all of the time. And if the north pole of your microbiome goes south, the only thing coming down your chimney will be a big box of sleep problems. Not only does serotonin improve sleep on its own accord, one of the most important things your body does with serotonin is use it to make your number one sleep regulating hormone, melatonin. Yes, melatonin is glorified as a, quote, sleep hormone, but it's really so much more than that. It's involved in regulating your body's circadian timing system, influencing when various hormones are released throughout the day and night, mental energy, digestive function, etc., as well as regulating your blood pressure, body temperature, cortisol levels, antioxidant defenses, and immune function. Saying melatonin is just a sleep hormone is like saying Michael Jordan is just good at putting a ball into a circle. Now, to reiterate and to step away a little bit from the text, melatonin is playing an enormous amount of roles in the human body, really regulating our, what we call this biological clock. And what that means, this is how we're literally synced up with nature. Our hormones are getting produced at certain times during the day, neurotransmitters, our digestion, everything about us, every one of our cells has a little biological clock, this circadian rhythm. It sounds kind of a little bit meta and kind of weird or even a little woo-woo, but it's not. This is how we're designed. But the interesting thing about humans is we can pretend we're not a part of nature. All right. We can hide out. We can manufacture whatever time of day we want. But the human body is constantly looking to sync itself with the diurnal and nocturnal patterns of the earth itself. We're connected to it no matter what. And so when I was in college, I was taught that melatonin, really, again, it was a sleep hormone. And also I was taught that melatonin is produced in the pineal gland of the brain. End of story. Next chapter. Turn the page. That was it. Very, very rudimentary description of something that is so remarkable. Today, we know that melatonin is also synthesized in other cells outside of the pineal cells, such as bone marrow cells, your lymphocytes, and most remarkably, cells in the gut. Research published in the World Journal of Gastroenterology revealed that the human digestive tract could contain more than 400 times more melatonin than the pineal gland at any given time. Do you understand this? I was taught melatonin is produced in the pineal gland. That's what everybody hears. We have 400 times more melatonin in our gut than in our brain.